Okay, so I have kind of skipped through the part of the exercise where we're doing a lot of things that you kind of should already have an understanding of. So I've created my box that it's asked me to, the rectangle. I've got my image inserted into here. Keep in mind with some of these exercises where you're having to read through these steps like this, it doesn't tell you to do every little thing. Sometimes you kind of have to figure it out on your own. And so for this case, I think you do have to take and move the image up to the top because it might want to center it and things like that. But the main topic that we're covering for this exercise is getting an understanding of tabs. And it can be a little bit frustrating in the beginning when you're learning how to control these things. But one of the first very important steps that you need to do is to make sure that you have your hidden characters shown. And so just make sure you go to Type and to Show Your Hidden Characters. Keep in mind that in Moodle, I did give you, let me bring it up 1 second. This example here, which is very important, if I can get it on my screen here, and I might not be able to. So this example here, where it is showing the actual tabs that you need to set, this is very, very important because we're going to go over the right tab, left tab, stop, and the different tab stops. You're only going to need right and left for this exercise here while you're learning how to control these. So this is showing you exactly where you need to place these tabs. So for each line, you'll notice that there are 3 for most of them. Sometimes there's 2, but you've got to have a tab, then type, tab, then type, tab, then type. Okay, so let me go over how we're going to do that here. I already have my type in here the best that I can. I'm going to try to go over kind of quickly how to get that in here. So let's go ahead and do that. So for this first type at the top, it does ask me to center that. So I am going to select all of that top information, and then I'm going to come over here and center that information here. Remember that if you don't see the options up here at the top, that you need to probably change your workspace. Mine is set to printing and proofing, so you might want to do that if you don't see those options. Make sure that you have that you are zoomed in here. So I'm doing Command plus to really zoom in on my content so that I can see what I'm doing. Currently, I just have the information typed in. It's not pretty quite yet. So I am going to be looking at my instructions to see what fonts I need. I know some of you are probably having some issues with your fonts, and that's really normal. I'm not going to grade you on whether you're setting that exact same font or not. So if you can find something fairly close and make it fit, I'm 100% okay with that. I don't really care what font you choose as long as it's fitting in there. Keep in mind for some of these exercises like this, if it's asking you to use a condensed font, that you probably need to find another one so that you can make sure that it's fit in there. I'm going to select this first line. For all generations, it's going to be at the very top. It tells me it needs to be 21 points over 25 for the leading. I'm going to go ahead and set that. And I'm actually not going to change the fonts right now because I don't want to bog you down with all of that. You know how to change the font. So I'm just going to skip down here. There is a rule below. So I am going to double click on this line here. We're going to set a rule below that. I'm going to do Command Option J. If you have a Mac, it's going to be Control Option J, I do believe. You might want to Google that if that's not correct. But you need to get into your paragraph rules. We are going to have our preview on. We want a rule below. And I'm going to turn my rule on. It specifies that it needs to be 0.5 points. So I'm going to set that. And I'm going to change the color. And it specifies the color. The color is going to be in here for you. It's going to be that brown color there. You can edit the placement of this rule by controlling the offset of that. So I'm going to just move that down to 0.0625 and it places it below that line there. and then I'll click OK. There's another way you could do that. You could also just use your line tool and create a line there. It's really preference, whatever you want to do, but you know how to do it both ways. Okay, I'm actually going to skip all the way down. I think from just observing the example that I'm trying to recreate, I feel like there needs to be a return here, or you can just select this first line and you can change the leading to add some space in between there. It doesn't specify in the instructions, but you're trying to make it look as close as possible. Okay, now let's get to the important part, which is going to be the tabs. So this is the stuff that we haven't gone over yet. Once you have your content typed in, you can go ahead and start setting your tabs. So from my example, I know that there's going to be a tab before the 8. I'm going to get rid of that space there. I'm going to replace that with a tab, and then I'm going to put a tab right here before Dean Flowers. And I'm just gonna, as I'm doing this, I'm gonna observe the example and try to make it match as close as possible. Before I set these tabs exactly the way I want them to be, I'm just gonna go ahead and place them in. Tab at the beginning of the time, tab here. So I'm gonna go all the way down and do the same thing. Now you're gonna get some stuff like this to happen if you don't set the tabs first, and that's fine. We're just gonna go back and fix that. We're not really worrying about that yet. We just want to get the tabs where they need to be. And there we have it. Now I am going to select all of this content. There's some more down here as well, but I'll fix that in just a second. Now here's how we add our tabs. I've got my tabs open here. If you do not see that, you can go to Type and Tabs to open this panel up. Okay, so we have our different tab stops. We got a right tab stop and a left tab stop. Then we have centered, and we've got this other one to align on decimal. We're not going over those yet. We're just gonna focus on the left and right. Okay, so from my example, it tells me that I need to add right tab stop here. So let me come back. And you can select anywhere in this gray box up at the top, and it's gonna create a tab for you. Now keep in mind that if the tab is highlighted in blue, that means it's selected. So anything that you do from here on will change that tab. So let's just look at that here. If I select left justify tab, notice that it changes it. That's a common mistake that students do. They'll have it selected and then go to select another tab stop, and it'll change it on them. And that's a common thing that happens. So we actually want this one to be right. So we're going to change it to the right tab stop. You also have to be a little bit careful when you're selecting in here, because you can accidentally set a whole bunch of tabs if you're not careful. If you do that, you can always click and drag them down to delete them. So let's go ahead and set our next one, which needs to be a left tab stop. So I'm just going to click in here somewhere, and I'm going to make sure that it is the left tab. And if I slide it around, you'll see a nice line pop up, a vertical line, and that vertical line is going to indicate anytime that you let go, that's where it's going to align that type up to the left. So if I stop right there, it's going to move it. So you can kind of see where it's moving it. Now, in the instructions, they're not specifying exactly where these tabs need to be placed. You just kind of have to eyeball it here. For my next one, I'm going to click again over here, and that one does need to be changed to a right tab. And so I'm going to make sure that that is, and I want to scoot it all the way over here to the right as far as I can get it. So currently with all of this selected, it has my tabs placed in here for me. Now in the instructions, I know that it doesn't have you do a return after each one. You can or you can't. That's how I would lay it out, honestly, if it was me. So you can do that. Now right now I'm still getting a little bit of an issue where it's pushing my type, and that's really because I don't have it set to the right point size anyway. So I just want to come over here to my instructions, and it says it needs to be 10/12. So I think I'm going to go ahead and change that. And then that's going to make sure that it fits in here. All right, so I do need to come in and finish formatting the rest of it. I want a tab here. I'm going to have to set those tabs again because I didn't select them earlier. And I can kind of line this up with the rest just by looking at, I can line that up right here with the rest of my type here. And change that one and line it up with the rest of my type here. All right. So let me go ahead and add that space in. I think some of you are kind of frustrated about that space not being correct. So for the most part, and obviously I didn't go in and change the color and all of that. I haven't completed it entirely through each step. I do want you to do that, but I wanted to make sure that I covered exactly how to do these tabs. If you have any questions, just let me know.